Uh, this section is called the Mastery of Destiny. By the way, this is what I'm reading. If none of y'all checked in yet, none of y'all see it, this is what I'm reading. As a Man Thinketh. We just finished As a Man Thinketh on the last episode. You know what I'm saying? Go check that out. Yeah, I think I split it. Between 4 videos, if I'm not mistaken. You know what I'm saying? They got 7 chapters. You know what I'm saying? So now we're gonna go to the next part. You know what I'm saying? And again, this next section I'm about to read is the Master of Destiny. I'm gonna try to get through the whole book. If I don't, it is what it is. We'll figure it out. Alright, forward. The discovery of law of evolution in the material world has prepared men for knowledge of law and of cause and effect in the mental world. Thought is not less orderly and progressive than the material forms which embody thought, and not alone cells and atoms, but thought and deeds are charged with a cumulative and selective energy in the realm of thought and deed. The good survives, for it is the fittest. The evil ultimately perishes. To know that the perfect law of Caucasting, new word. I'm gonna look it up later. So let me reread that. To know that that the perfect law of Caucasting is all embracing in mind as in matter, is to be relieved from all anxiety concerning the ultimate destiny of individuals of humanity. For man and man, master of his fate. And he will, in man, which is conquering the knowledge of the natural law, will conquer the knowledge of the spiritual law. The will, which in ignorance chooses evil, will, as wisdom evolves and emerges, choose good. In a universal law, the final mastery of evil by man is assured. His lesser destinies of separation and sorrow, defeat, and death are by disciplinary steps leading to the great destiny of triumphant mastery. He himself is unconsciously building. All of it with lacerated hands and labored bowed form, he temple of glory, which is to afford him an eternal habitation of peace. In this volume, I've tried to set down some words indicative of this law and the destiny and the matter of its working and its building, and have arranged the subject matter as to make the book a companion volume to the life triumphant. The first 6 and the last chapters first appeared in Bibby's Quarterly and Bibby's Annual, and it is by kind permission of the editor, Mr. Joseph Bibby, that they are now brought together and published in volume form. The only 3 chapters have been added to make the book consecutive and complete. Alright, so to reiterate what I just read, so the last 7 episodes is really with the foreword and the 6 chapters. You know what I'm saying? So it's 7. So 7 chapters in the last in them last 4 episodes. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna jump into the last part of the book. Deeds, character, and destiny. There is and always has been a widespread belief in fate or destiny, that is, in an eternal and inscrutable power which apportions definite ends to both individuals and nations. This belief has arisen from long observation of facts of life. Men are conscious that are in certain occurrences which they cannot control and are powerless to avert. Birth and death, for instance, are inevitable, and many of the incidents of life appear equally inevitable. Men strain every nerve for the attainment of certain ends, and gradually they become conscious of power. Hold on one second. Which seems to be not of themselves, which frustrates their puny efforts and laughs, as it were, at their fruitless striving and struggle. As man advances in life and learns to submit more or less at this overruling power which they do not understand, perceiving only its effects in themselves and the world around them, and they call it by various names such as God, providence, fate, destiny, etc. Men of contemplation, such as poets and philosophers, step aside, as it were, to watch the movements of this mysterious power as it seems to elevate its favorites on one hand, strike down its victims on the other, without reference to merit. Alright, so this book was made, and this dude, James Allen, was born in 1964. So a lot of the things that he's saying is off his perception of what he see within his time, within poets, philosophers, all of this, that, and the third. Meaning, you got words that sound like this, you got words that describe this, you got words that embody this person and or this state, this place, this feeling, or this sort of men of contemplation, such as poets and philosophers, step aside, as it were, to watch the movements of this mysterious power. It seems to elevate its favorites on the one hand and strike down its victims on the other, without reference to merit and demerit. The greatest poets, especially the dramatic poets, represent this power in their work, as they have observed it in nature. The Greek and Roman dramatists usually depict their heroes as having foreknowledge of their fate and taking means to escape it, but by so being the blindly involved, blindly involve themselves in a series of consequences which bring about the doom in which they are trying to avert. Shakespeare's characters, on the other hand, are represented as in nature, with no foreknowledge except in the form of presentment of their particular destiny. Thus, according to the poets, whether the man knows his fate or not, he cannot avert it, or every conscious or unconscious act of his is a step towards it. Omar moving finger is a vivid expression of this idea of fate. The moving finger writes, and having writ, moves on, nor all thy pity nor wit shall lure it back to cancel half a life, nor all their tears wash out a word of it. Thus men in all nations of times have experienced in their lives the action of invincible power of law, and in our nation today this experience has been crystallized in the terms of proverb. Man proposes, God disposes. I like that. But it's kind of fun. You gotta learn it, you know what I'm saying? You gotta read, you know what I'm saying? You gotta read words and all that good stuff, but that's kind of low key. But contradictory as it may appear, there is an equally widespread belief in man's responsibility as a free agent. All moral teaching is an affirmation of man's freedom to choose his course and mold his destiny, and man's patient and untiring efforts in achieving his ends or declarations of consciousness of freedom and power. This dual experience of fate on the one hand and freedom on the other has given rise to the interminable controversy between the believers in fatalism and the upholders of free will, a controversy which was recently my bad, y'all. Let me reread that. This dual experience of fate on the one hand and freedom of the other has given rise to the interminable controversy between the believers in fatalism and the upholders of free will, a controversy in which was recently revived under the term determinism. determinism versus free will. All right, y'all. If y'all can't, if y'all didn't get that, you know what I'm saying? I reread it for you. Uh, if you don't get anything, you know what I'm saying? Get the book. You know what I'm saying? Get the book. Between apparently conflicting extremes, there is always a midway of balance, justice, and comprehension, which it includes both extremes, cannot be said to be either one or the other, and which brings both into harmony and the middle way at the point of contract between two extremes. Truth cannot be a partisan, but it is nature. It is the reconciler of extremes, and so, in the matter of which we are considering, there is a golden mean which brings fate and free will into close relationship, wherein indeed it is seen that these two indisputable facts in life for such they but are but two aspects of one central law, one unifying, all-embracing principle, namely the law of causation and its moral aspect. Moral causation necessitates both fate and free will, both individual responsibility and individual predestination. For the law of causes must be the law of effects, and cause and effect must always be equal. The train of causation, both in matter and mind, must be internally balanced, therefore eternally just, eternally perfect, as every effect may be said to be things preordained, but the predetermining power is a cause, and not the fiat of an arbitrary will. Man finds himself involved in a train of causation. His life is made up of causes and effects, and it is both a sowing and a reaping. Each fact of his is a cause in which must be balanced by his effects. He chooses the cause. This is the free will. He cannot choose alter and avert the effect. This is the fate. Thus, free will stands for the power to initiate causes, and destiny is an involvement in effects. It is therefore true that man is predestined to certain ends that he himself has. Therefore, he knows it is not issued the mandate that the good or evil thing from which there is no escape he has but his own deeds brought about. Well, I got a whole side video that I can make with this whole section I just read. And it definitely pertains to the opposite sex. But we ain't gonna talk about that. It may here be urged that man is not responsible for his deeds, that these are the effects of his character, and that he is responsible for the character, good or bad, which was just given him at his birth. If character has given him at birth, this would be true, and there would be no moral law and no need for moral teachings, but characteristics are not given and ready-made, and they evolve, and they're indeed effects, the products of moral itself, and that is the products of these character result of an accumulation of these which they have been piled up, so to speak, by the individual during his life. What up? Everything good so far? A certain someone, I ain't gonna say his name because I'm online, but a certain someone said something about a certain someone, and he said, and he's happy that certain someone is gone. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, it is what it is, you know. A patient is a patient. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, right. Man is the doer of his own deeds, such as he is the maker of his own character, and the doer of his deeds and the maker of his character. He is the molder and the shaper of his destiny. He has the power to modify and alter his deeds, and every time he acts, he modifies his character, and with the modification of his character for good or evil, he is the predetermining for himself new destinies disastrous or beneficent in accordance with the nature of his deeds. Character is destiny itself, as a fixed combination of deeds. It bears within itself with the results of these deeds. These results lie hidden as moral seeds in the dark recesses of the character, awaiting their season of germination, growth, and fruitage. These things which befall a man are the reflections of himself, the destiny which pursued him, which he was powerless to escape by effort or avert by prayer, but was the relentless ghoul of his own wrong deeds, demanding and reinforcing restitution. Those blessings and curses which comes to him abiding are the reverberating echoes of the sounds in which himself sent forth. It is the knowledge of the power of the perfect law working through and above all things, the perfect justice operating and adjusting all human affairs that enables the body, the good man, to love his enemies and rise above all hatred, resentment, and complaining. For he knows he knows that only his own can come to him, and that through he be surrounded by persecutors, his enemies are but the blind instruments of a faultless retribution, and so he blames them not, but calmly receives his accounts and patiently pays his moral debts. But this is not all. This is not at all. He does not merely pay his debts. He takes care not to contract any further debts. He watches himself and makes his deeds faultless. While paying off all evil accounts, he is laying up good accounts. By putting an end to his own sin, he is bringing evil and suffering up to an end. And now let us consider how the law operates at particular instances in the outworking of destiny through deeds and character. First, we look at this present life, for the present is the synthesis of the entire past. The net result of all of that a man has ever thought and done is contained within him. It is noticeable that sometimes the good man fails, and the unscrupulous man prospers. In fact, that seems to put all moral maxims as to the good results of righteousness out of account. But because of this, many people deny the operation of any just law in human life, and even declare that it is chiefly the unjust that prosper. Nevertheless, the moral law exists, and it is not altered or subverted by shallow conclusions. It shall be remembered that the man is a changing, evolving being. The good man was not always good, the bad man was not always bad. Even in this life, there was a time in a large number of instances that when the man who was not just was just unjust, when he who is now kind was cruel, when he who is now pure was impure. Conversely, there was a time in the life in a number of instances when he who was not unjust was just, when he who is now cruel was kind, when who was now impure was pure. Thus the good man who is overtaken with the calamity today is reaping the result of his former evil sowing. Later, he will reap the happy results of his present good sowing, while the bad man is now reaping the result of his former good sowing. Later, he will reap the results of his present sowing of bad. Alright, so this is what I got out of this. And to me, this is what I got. Pretty much, if you're good and you made bad decisions, he basically saying the bad decisions between the good person is coming to the good person, meaning you got to learn from them or do something different or change, you know what I'm saying, or of some sort. Then you got the bad person that do something bad, you know what I'm saying, eventually, because it's like it get a bad person an excuse, to me in my opinion, get a bad person an excuse to think about how they gonna do something good just so they ain't gotta be bad no more. To me, I don't like this section. It's a bunch of movement. But hey, you can think what you want to think. Characteristics are fixed habits of mind, the results of deeds, and an act. In no way, shape, or form, there's no such thing as perfection, but some of this stuff be excuses. Sometimes you got to take accountability. Characteristics are fixed habits of mind and the results of the deeds, and in fact, repeated a large number of times becomes unconscious or automatic. That is, and then seems to repeat itself without any effort on the part of the doer, so that it seems to him almost impossible not to do it, and then he has become a mental characteristic. Here's a poor man out of work. He is honest, and it is not a shirker. He wants work and cannot get it. tries hard and continues to fail. Whereas the justice in his lot, there was a time in this man's condition when he had plenty of work. He felt burdened with it. He shirked, he shirked it and longed for ease, and he thought how delightful it would be to have nothing to do. He did not appreciate his blessedness of his lot, and his desire for ease is not gratified, but the fruit for which he longed and which he thought would taste so sweet has turned to ashes in his mouth. 1 second. Turned to ashes in his mouth. The condition which he aimed for, namely, to have nothing to do, he has reached, and there he is compelled to remain till his lesson is truthfully learned. And he is surely learning the habitual ease is degrading, that to have nothing to do is a condition of wretchedness, and that work is a noble and blessed thing. His former desires and deeds have brought him where he is, and now his present desire for work and his ceaseless searching and asking for will just as surely bring about his own beneficent result. No longer desiring idleness, his present condition will, as an effect, the cause of which is no longer propagated, soon pass away, and he will obtain employment as if his own mind is now set on work, and he desires it above all else. When it comes, he will be overwhelmed with it, and it will flow into him from all sides, in which he will prosper in this industry. Alright, so boom. I'm gonna give y'all my section of this. Alright, so with this being said, a lot of men I believe that the man don't work, the man don't eat. Meaning, man, a lot of y'all men that don't do shit, y'all literally don't do shit. Y'all sit around and wait for the woman to do everything. Y'all believe that the woman can have the house. Y'all believe that the woman can have the car. Y'all believe the woman is the ruler. The woman is the leader. The woman is God. Y'all niggas are backwards. Well, I ain't supposed to say that. Scratch that. Beep. Y'all men are backwards. There's no way that y'all supposed to sit around and just do absolutely nothing, and then don't want to do nothing. Nah, it don't work like that. Then, if he does not understand the law of cause and effect in human life, he will wonder why work comes to him apparently unsought, while others who seek it strenuously fail to obtain it. Meaning, what I get out of this is, most people that like constantly look for work, they really don't want to do that shit. To me, it's like an excuse. If if you naturally really want to work, you would naturally do something without going to go look for some monetary value, and eventually it'll pop up. So it's like a show of action. You can't just be like, well, hey, I want to go to work, I want to go to work, I want to go to work, but you sit on your ass all day at home. You know what I'm saying? It don't make sense. You ain't did shit. Then if he does not understand the law of cause and effect in human life, he will wonder why work comes to him apparently unsought, while others who seek it strenuously fail to obtain it. Nothing comes unbidden. Where the shadows is, there also is the substance. That which comes to the individuals is the product of his own deeds. As cheerful industry leads to greater industry and increasing prosperity, the laborer shirk and undertaking discontentedly leads to a lesser degree of labor and decreasing prosperity. So with all the varied and conditions of life as we see them, they are the destinies wrote by the thoughts and deeds of each particular individual. So also with that, the vast variety of characters, they are the ripening and ripened growth of the sowing of deeds. A lot of this got like a lot of biblical talk. So if you ain't never read your Bible, you ain't never read your Word, you ain't never read the King James version of the Bible, you ain't never read the Quran, you might want to tap into it. It's like this book got a lot of I ain't gonna say religious because I don't really like the word religious. But for me, I'm gonna say it got a lot of spiritual and cultural meanings from these books, from those two books that I just pronounced. It's You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got, you know what I'm saying, as I say and a couple of my other people say, you know what I'm saying, lock in. You just gotta lock in and do what you need to do. There is no other way around it. I firmly believe if you sit at home and do absolutely nothing and you sitting here and lie and talking about how you filling out application, but you going out doing other bullshit, you ain't even doing no putting forth no effort. There's a reason why I'm able to do what I'm doing, because even when I'm not working, I'm working on something. There's no such thing as working too much. I don't care what y'all say. Being broke, being broke is being lazy. Being broke means that y'all literally don't do nothing. Something in your mind, your heart, your body is fucking broken and it needs to be repaired. And you're lazy and you don't want to repair it. That shit is retarded. I'm gonna add insane too. Retarded and insane. I don't want to hear the fact that well, everybody can't do everything or everybody's different. I'm not talking about those people that inherently can't do anything because they are missing something or doing something. I'm talking specifically to the lazy people. The lazy people in your relationship, whether you man or woman or child, it don't matter. Truth is truth. I may reread something because I lost my spot, but I'm almost done with this chapter anyway. Alright, boom. As the individual reaps and he sows, so the nation. Becoming a community of individual reaps also what it sows. Nations become great when the leaders are just men. They fall and fade when they're just men pass away. Those who are in power set an example, good or bad, for the entire nation. Say this to say this. Women don't lead the nation. Women are the culture. Women maintain it. Women maintain the nation. Women can't. If you notice, a woman will sit at home. A woman will literally sit at home. Let's talk about how fucked up the system is. A woman will literally sit at home and ask for the government to help her. That's not leading the nation. I'm sorry. You asked a government to lead your nation. You asked for the government to give you maintenance so you can maintain your nation. Think about that. Great will be the peace and prosperity of a nation when there shall arise within it a line of statesmen who first establish themselves in a lofty integrity of character, shall direct the energies of the nation toward the culture of virtue and development of character, knowing that only through personal industry, integrity, and nobility can national prosperity proceed. Still above all is the great law, calmly and with infallible justice, meting out to mortals their fleeting destinies, tear staining and smiling, the fabric of their hands. Life is a great school for the development of character and all, through strife and struggle, vice and virtue, success and failure are slowly but surely learning the lessons of wisdom. Alright, so that's the first chapter. I know this took longer than usual, but I wanted it that way. This is the first chapter of what this is called on this side. The Master of Destiny. This is the first chapter. I get into the second chapter later. The link won't be in the description for the book. When I find the link in the description for the book or whatever, I'll put it in my comment section and put it in my descriptions over there. But this is the book I'm reading. If you want to catch up, go to the last videos and go from there. Or simply, you can just go to Amazon and get the book.